Greetings, everyone. I am AuroRa. I am the founder of A.U.R.A Hypnosis Entity Removal Past Life Regression Self-Healing Technique. I am also the founder of Raw Reiki Healing and Quantum Galactic Akashic courses, which I certify internationally, both on in person for the A.U.R.A Hypnosis and the Raw Reiki. And there's also a live online workshops. You can find more information about me under risingphoenixaurora.com, as well as go to Patreon, where we teach some of these courses, or you could also join us at our online workshops, which the next one is June 13, and then the last retreat for the year is August 14 in Manchester. And love to see you there. We still do have some spots available, so join us. You learn how to remove yourself from the inverted, which we'll be talking some of that today, but mostly it'll be about the event Ascension, but what is to the background to that as well. So yes, you learn how to remove yourself from the inverted and step into your true divine organic blueprint, your original blueprint that you created for yourself before all the archons and the entities infringed upon your timelines, creating inverted timelines. Veluvia. I love you guys. Yes, we just finished sharing a light language video, which talked about Lemurian language, and that means I love you. So someone wrote that. So just telling you all I love you too. So yes, I am the author to Galactic Soul History of the Universe, which you can find under Amazon in paperback ebook, as well as audiobook under my website, where you can purchase that. And last thing is follow me, watch me, listen to us under Rumble, Spotify, and YouTube. Thank you all for being here. Let's get started. So write your questions now in chat. We have beautiful Minnie, my friend and assistant, logging the questions for us. So log those there, write them, and then I will ensure to answer them along the way. Beautiful. Okay, I don't really see too many questions right now, Minnie. So, all right, make sure we check Patreon, we check everywhere. Beautiful. Okay, so start with your questions, but give you some time because I'm actually going to go into what is the event. Everybody wants to know what is the event. Oh, and then last thing here is I need to make it very clear, every video, that I don't consent to any hatred, any trolling, any of that. Keep your negativities. I am very sovereign, so it'll be yours to transmute, so don't even bother. Thank you. I love you. Okay, so let's get started. Oh my gosh, such a powerful, it's so interesting to be talking to you all about this video 5.5 years after beginning to be on YouTube, because this is actually one of these memories is what awakened me to be here with you of the future to come and what it will be like to, ascend out. So we started talking about this 5.5 years ago of how this solar flare, solar wave that people talk about, or they named it the event, or it's Ascension, and also Dolores talked about it in how the new Earth and the splitting of the Earths. I don't know if, no, she didn't talk about the splitting. I don't know if she did. I just know that she did talk about the new Earth. So we're going to go into all you can know, all we could possibly think of in this time and space of the event, Ascension, and all of that. Some of the things that you might have heard about that you want clarifications on. So we're going to go now into the quantum world, quantum realm, where I will be channeling this information from. I am surrounded by love light all the time, because I am love. If you all meet me, that's what I am. All right, beautiful. Okay, so let's see. Where would we begin? Oh my god, I'm so excited to be talking about this. Okay, wow. Okay, so let's begin. All right. So Ascension, what is Ascension? What is the event? What is all of that? So the ascension, so the way the universe is leveled, it's leveled by different an infinity of dimensions is the way that we can understand it. And all these infinity of dimensions are within one pocket of space, overlapping one another, like stacking cups, you could say, like children stacking cups, and they're all intertwining parallel to one another. Okay, now though we are all sovereign and we are individual consciousness, but we are also collective, right? Especially if we decide to incarnate into a planetary sphere. We've all here on Earth, the millions, billions of us have decided to incarnate on Earth. We took on that challenge, that mission to do so. When we do that, we actually take in the embodiment of the collectives. Perhaps opportunities that they need to work on, lack of the negativities, what is going on with the planet, we take on with it. So, some of you are veterans, the first waves of volunteers that decided to come into Earth and help it, lift its vibration so that it could stop. So this Illuminati, this dark entities, reptilians, archons could stop. Which archons we know about that. There's all sorts of videos and playlists under our YouTube and all our channels. You can check them out to find if you don't understand some of these words I'm saying. Okay, but today I'm going to stick with the event and ascension and all about that. Okay. So as we know, okay. So in order to come in, we needed to be a matching vibration to Earth at that time and space. So if we were born in the 80s, in the 90s, in the 1940s, 60s, whatever, we needed to come into that vibration. And basically our entire life, we're trying to figure out and remember ourselves and deveil ourselves, remove the negativities that we actually had to have someone into our bodies to be a matching vibration to come in to Earth in that time and space, in that moment, in that exact moment of date and time and space. Now it was a lot harder before the two world split, the bifurcation, because now children who are coming in can come in, and we could talk about more about this about children another time, but they can come in through the organic blueprint of Earth, which is very powerful. So the third world split, there's a series on that, you can watch that. They can come in through the organic blueprint, which means that they don't have to come in as dense as we are. Ridiculous, we're so dense, right? And infringements to make us a matching vibration. So, okay, for a minute I thought you guys couldn't hear me. We're good. Okay, all right. So, amazing. Isn't that beautiful? How these children can actually birth out through that organic blueprint of Earth, that we've done all that work as light workers. To transform the Earth. Okay, so there's that potential, and that's why the Greys and all the dark entities want to stop the children from birthing with a V, because they view children as danger, because truly they're now able to come in after the 12/21/21 officially, yes, without those densities as us. Okay, beautiful. How powerful is that? Think about that for a second, y'all. All right, so this is why children are why they're ascended masters, why they are our guides and are truly our masters, right? Okay, our ascended masters, not our masters, ascended masters. Okay, beautiful. All right, so we understand that. So as we all work within our times and spaces and developed and not consented, emute, which is spelled E-M-U-T-E, in case I didn't spell it in the last one. E-M-U-T-E. We're stopping that. We're saying no, basically, it's no. Don't overstep my boundaries. So with the Lemurian language. So emute. So we're stopping that and not allowing that. Okay, so as we kept doing that, basically every single day that we were born on Earth, we kept doing that, cleansing, transmuting, changing. Hey, standing up for ourselves. If we could, some of us took us time to stand up for ourselves, right? All right, so let's talk about that. All right, so we understand that. Boom, boom, boom. Let's fast forward. Let's fast forward to so that's all the work we did, right, to get us to this point in time and space. And that work is infinite. There's many ways that we stood up for ourselves and stood up for others. Okay. All right. So we're this entire time. So I remember when I first started waking in 2017, when Dolores came to me and she started. She would give me dreams, and in these dreams, she would give me information. And one of the dreams that she showed me, as well as the beautiful galactics and the 13 keys, and we're going to talk about why this is important, but they showed me the future Earth. They showed me in the future, so me a couple decades from now. And then I was watching as this wave was coming in, and we'll talk about what that wave is and how the whole entire Earth, it's so exciting to talk about it with you all. This whole entire Earth was vibrating, oscillating, like Todd Devaney would say. It's oscillating. It was oscillating and it was vibrating and it was shifting and changing. And we're going to talk to the levels of how we get there. But here's a little glimpse into that. And as we were oscillating the Earth and vibrating, everything was catalyzing into the categories of which vibration you're at. And as it oscillated, so Dolores talked about this. She talked about how Isis would be Ascension, literally. She would be the new Earth, and how she would catapult us into that. Okay. And as it vibrated, all of these beautiful Divine Mother essences, which Isis basically is an essence of the Daughter of the Flame, which is the universe, which is also Sophia, okay? And so all the Divine Mother fractalizations on Earth are extremely essential. One of the reasons why the Illuminati has targeted some of these Divine Mother essences, because they can use them for dark rituals and control. And why they've oppressed the feminine, obviously, because they don't want this fruition of this birthing, which will occur in the future, because it will be like an actual birthing. It will be a womb type of birthing of creational, sacral energy of source. Okay, but let me finish the stream and then we'll go into more depth of that. And then, because that's how they communicated it to me through vision, dreams, meditations. And as all of these essences, they were all joining to, at this perspective, they won't let me say it. Okay, so this essence of the universe and some sacred information I can't share, so it's okay. And all of this sacred essences of Divine Mother fractalizations and essences were merging into one. As they were merging into one, this collective consciousness of Divine Mother, of Creator, Source, had become one in that time and space as this wave was hitting. And as she was becoming one, she was lit up on fire, source flame, fire, plasmic energy. And she was vibrating, she was one, and she could feel the power of that energy. There's no words. And at that point, that's when the actual final split came off on one another. And it was the birthing of this creational energy of Divine Mother. It actually evolved her children from being in the inverted and eradicating that into the organic, back to the organic, the promised land. Okay, so let's talk about that. So that was the glimpse of that. And then I remember I came back, because we traveled through time and space through our dreams. So in this perspective, I had traveled to the future, I had seen that, and then I had felt it, because I am an essence of Mother as well, Divine Mother. So I have felt it along with all these beautiful essences. And then I came back into the body, and I woke up and it's like, oh, I'm back from the future. Wow, that was magical. And then that was actually one of the first dreams that they showed me when I started waking up. And then I realized, wow, so this is my mission, this is my path to help others get there to that point where they could be that vibratory match for ascension, for the event, for the new Earth, for the 2/3 world split. Okay, Beautiful. So let's talk about the scientific point of view. Okay. Good. We got lots of questions there. All right. So let's rewind back to beginning of that. Okay. The way Earth is consisted, and you can watch The Land of Mu, Pangea. We talked about its original blueprint, a crystalline blueprint. We got 2 hours. We talked about that. Magical creatures, and then we also can't remember who talked to that, but yes, you can find those 2 videos there. We'll share the links later for you. Okay. All right. Whew, lots of energy running through me as I talk about this. Okay. Especially after I've tapped into that. Woo. Memory. Okay. Now. Okay. So the way the Earth is set up is the original crystalline blueprint. Watch those 2 videos. Now, so what's occurred with the Archon virus is that it inverted it. And you can watch many videos about that we've talked about. What does that mean? Inverted AI. What does that mean? Archons. We've tons of videos on those. Okay. All right. So let's see. So within the simulation, we are a planetary sphere. Most planets are spheric in nature, but there's also realms of existence, planes of existence that just are. There's just a realm. There's no, say, planetary sphere to it. Okay, but this planetary sphere is a blueprint to Mother Earth, to Mother Gaia, to Divine Mother. It's an essence of her. And so it's a representation to Mother herself in a planetary sphere and all the beautiful essences and elements that go with that. Okay. All right. So what happened when the bifurcation, trifurcation happened was when the two third world split happened, when the beginnings of it happened. I'm going to show you an image so you could understand. But again, there's a whole playlist on this. Just because this is what we're actually talking about. We're talking about alchemy and how this will work through the quantum physics and quantum realm. So let me show you the image. Here it is. Okay. Okay. So this was very essential for us to ascend out. This actual bifurcation, trifurcation that we began on 2012. Began to crystallize on 12/21/2020, and then completely crystallize into manifestation like this in 12/21/21. So it's completely come online at this point. So we see in one perspective there's the 5th dimension, the middle is the 4th, the bridge, and then the other perspective is the 3rd dimension, which is the inverted world. The 5th is the organic, the original blueprint. Okay. Now, this also, the 5th dimension can be seen as the 6th dimension, which Todd Diviny talks about in his expansion for ascending consciousness, because he is correct. We don't go into the 5D. All these people are talking about the 5D. We actually go into the 6D. We skip the 5D because 5D was the original one that didn't work out for us. So we're going to bypass that, and we are ascending out into the 6D. Those people who will have to repeat. So there's going to be people, we'll talk about the different classes of people and what's going to happen to them. But yes, so the people who are going back to, say, the 5D are actually going to go into 6D because 5D will be no longer. 6th dimension will be it. The crystalline blueprint that we talked about in Land of Mu and Pangea will be back. Okay. All right. So in order for this to happen, all right, so we got one Earth and it's got parallel existence. It's got both of these parallels right now, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Once we ascend out, we go into the 6th. These are no longer, they're gone. Okay. All right. We understand that. All right. Beautiful. Okay. All right. Okay. So the Earth. So outside is the inverted, the 3D. It's the crust of Earth where we're at. The inside of Earth is actually the 5th dimension. They're inside. the Agarthian people, the elven beings, the dragons, the magical beings that we talked about in those videos I mentioned, they're inside of there. So what will happen when the actual splitting will happen is the crust of Earth, the people of Earth, it will basically, it's kind of like an egg, like a creational egg. The eggshell, we're sitting and walking on the eggshell of the Earth in the 3D. But energetically, we can operate in the fourth, fifth dimension and beyond if we're, standing in sovereignty, clear channels, all that. Okay, so as we walk on Earth, initially, what will happen is that the 3D will break off and decrust itself. Like the crust will open up. Kind of like if you have a dessert, organic dessert with no processed sugar, and you break the crust, and then there's some beautiful fillings inside. That's kind of yummy. Maybe like a I'm going to desserts. Let's skip that. I don't eat desserts, but this is the easiest way I can explain. Okay, so that's an analogy for you guys. So what's inside is that's how we portal out through the inside of Earth. This is how, because the portal into the fifth, sixth dimension is inside of Earth. Okay, which is the Emerald Gateway, Avalon, the Promised Land, which will be sixth dimension at that point. Okay. All right. We understand that. So let's talk about how this will work. Okay. So we understand that. Okay. When the time comes, there are legions and legions of angels right now. And the angels would be the ones that would be assisting with this, archangels, angels, legions of angels. There's different, there's every single color in our universe. There's an infinity of angel legions that are benevolent in nature, that oversee a different mission, okay? We've channeled some of these archangels, but the truth is that there's so many that we probably won't be able to cover all of them. So, before Ascension. But okay, and let's see. So all these legions are preparing realms of existence for these different souls that are on Earth. Okay, so we've explained that the magical creatures, the dragons, the unicorns, the fairies, they're all holding the fifth, sixth dimension for us. They're holding the original blueprint for us. If you read, it's going to be in book 2, but if you want a preview to it, you can get a preview under my website, risingphoenixaurora.com, where we talk about the Key of Ascension, and we explain that in detail. I think like 18 pages worth alone of speaking of how the dragons and the magical creatures are who are holding the promised land for us. Because when the splitting happened, like the image I showed you, it began to split. People needed to choose. Are they going to go to the inverted, or are they going to stay organic and they're going to follow their hearts? Now, a lot of people were tricked by mind games. And so when that happened, the magical creatures were like, I'm not falling for that. I'm not going for that. I'm going to hold space for you. If you made your choice to be in the 3D, in the inverted, their companions, I'm going to hold space, this original blueprint for you up here in the fifth dimension, until you can work within yourself, cleanse yourself, and really truly see that you've been tricked and you've been conned into thinking that some of these false knowledge that was shared in Atlantean times when they were fighting against the Lemurians, or overall just, all of that we share, that you're going to stay there and I'll be up here. Someone had to hold that original organic blueprint. And of course, who else than these beautiful, pure animals that are seen in our world? All the animal life are magical beings, right? Okay, so they're holding that space for us there energetically. It's always been there, but it's been a work in progress. It's like when you're building something and you're creating a fetus, a baby in your womb, right? So what happens with the baby? First you have to have an egg and a sperm, and they I feel like I'm talking to a child and I'm talking to them about how to make a baby. Anyways, so the sperm penetrates the egg, right? And then out comes an embryo, a baby. The embryo starts growing and building. What does it have to build? It builds, I believe it builds, what is it? the heart first, then the spine, right? So it goes through this metamorphosis, this alchemy process where it starts building, and the mother is carrying this and creating this life inside of her. Isn't that beautiful? And then this, then the bones build, and the tissues, and the skin, and the eyes, and hands, and feet, all these beauties, right? So that's what the new earth, the earth that we're going to ascend out into. And then also keep in mind, not everyone's going to ascend out into the 5th, 6th dimension. Some people would just return back to being your higher self, your oversoul. Some people, if you came from the 8th dimension and you really loved it, you're going to go back to being with your soul family in the 8th dimension. It depends on what fractal in essence you are, and that in itself is a long story. So yeah, you go back to who you choose. You've already made a predestined blueprint of what, if you made it and you were that matching vibration to send out, and you could overcome the falseness of this world, the inversions of this world, you were going to go wherever you said you agreed to before you came here. Okay. All right. Let's see what else here. Okay, we're doing great. Beautiful. Okay. Make sure I don't miss anything as they continue to talk to me. All right, so we understand that. All right, so what happens is, in order for ascension to happen, is that we need to create a backup to a backup, plan A all the way to the plan Z. Okay, from A to Z. And all this time has been a manifestation and a creation to being able to do that. The more infinity of galactic alien races that we got to incarnate made it easier for planetary spheres to connect to Earth to be able to assist it. So the more different of versatility of variety of alien races that incarnate into Earth is better, is best for us, because then they bridge that planetary sphere original blueprint if hopefully their planet is not compromised, but we've talked about that already before, and it bridges in organic blueprints of a higher dimensional planetary sphere, and basically it shifts, because then they're the carrier of that higher planetary sphere energy, coding all of that into Earth, and then that shifts Earth. That's why star seeds are really important to incarnate on Earth, because they bridge in that the higher energy. That's how we have to get this energy somehow in, right, you all? So we are the carriers of these higher dimensional energies, and we are the birthers of them, the carriers. So we are the bridge in. So that's why we have to incarnate, to bridge in that energy. We have to call out from outside of the 3D into the higher dimensions and realms for assistance when we need assistance from our higher selves or our benevolence of teams, because they're in the higher realms. We're not. We're in the 3D. This crazy world sometimes we look at, right? But it's also very beautiful. Okay. All right. Okay. So beautiful it is. Whew. Much energy and knowledge is coming through. Okay, so all right, so we understand that. I want to make sure I have to say everything specifically always. Everything that I channel, I specifically communicate in a transmission so that it can be exactly how it's meant to be organically. Okay, divinely. All right, so we understand that. Now the Earth. Okay. So what will happen when the event ascension will come forth? What will happen is what's going to happen is Source is going to create a wave, which this is what the solar wave people are talking about. So he and she, Source, is going to send a wave of source of light, infinite source of light, in union with other suns, infinity of suns. Suns are basically spheric embodiments of source. That's what suns are. So that's why they provide to their galaxy, to their star cluster, they provide love light and the energy of source that keeps them going. It recharges their light inside of them, every soul. Okay, so let's see what else. So when that wave is comes through, this is where the 13 keys and the sacred laws that we talk about are very important. Because what will happen is that these 13 sacred laws of the universe are portals into the connection of the sun. And when this wave comes forth from source, and finally the universe has decided, okay, we have done all the work that we can do. We have saved as many souls as we could. We have awakened as many, because there's many beautiful babies, starseeds, who have incarnated into baby bodies, and we have to have babies to come in because they're the purest love light that will help us ascend out. So we have so many that are feel like they're trapped in bodies. Two parents that possibly got the V, and we need to give them an opportunity and then a chance to awaken. Give them a chance. So that's why we say, be patient with this. Now, ascension is individual and also collective. So what sometimes people experience as the event could be just individually for them. But what we're talking about is the actual final physical split is what we're talking about. Okay, not one's perspective if they ascend out on their own, because there's many who are done with their roles on earth and they've accomplished what they needed to do, and then they're ready to ascend out. There's many of those that are ready, and when they do, they ascend out into either the earth, the original earth, or they go back, right, to wherever they're meant to go. So then, okay, make sure I understand all of that. Yes. So they will go. Now, so I have to basically translate everything into English language, because I'm listening to frequency vibration from source. So I have to translate it all, and it's all very specific and needs to be translated always to the T of love light. Okay. So that's why we have to love and honor and not be, all like, because that service to self, when you're like, oh, come on, event, just come on, I need to get out of here. Oh, I can't stand this place anymore. Then you're really disconnected. If you're in that type of vibration, you're disconnected from self-love. You're disconnected from, wait a minute, there's children in bodies. Give them an opportunity to lift their vibration enough to ascend out, as well as they continue to be around these parents who they try to awaken. That's what our children are here for. They awaken the parents. So give everyone an opportunity. And the percentage that we have right now that would achieve ascension is very low. Right now we're looking at, if people were really the people who are completely clear, I'm seeing a 15% that would actually ascend out. If we brought that event now, only 15% of people would ascend out, is what they're sharing. So think about that. So that's a very low percentage. We want it to at least be anywhere near the 50%, don't you think? At least give people an opportunity. So being balanced with this, being loved, because if you're like that, then you're really just thinking of yourself then. And then that means that you have some kind of infringements that you have to work on, and you still need to self-heal. So you understanding the perspective, because in order for us to ascend out, we have to be in service to others, above that 50% in service to others. And if you're in that type of mentality, you're not. So you need to work within yourself, because this is a guide. This video is a guide of how to help yourself ascend out. So very, very serious sacred knowledge that we are sharing. Very important. Okay. So let's give everyone an opportunity. I'm here to the end. That's who I am. That's what I do. I travel, and my essence, that's what it does. It helps others see the inversions within them, see the mirror, the reflection within them, so that they can shift out of it, so that they can find their true organic form, so that they can find it all, dig it all up. It might be dug deep inside, and sometimes encased or caged by black magic, but you must dig that up in order to ascend out. Okay, you must heal it. Okay, So, um, all right, so then what will happen to the consciousness within Earth is that there's going to be levels of matching vibrations. Okay, so there's going to be matching vibration to ascension. So those people would be a clear vessel, people who are truly in service to others, who have completely cleared the vessel, don't have any of the AI Archon virus that caused the fall of Atlantis, that caused the for us to be stuck in this inverted matrix, that made the inverted matrix. How could you ascend out if you still have some of these irregularities within you, the Archon virus within you? You won't be able to, because you're not at that point through the quantum world. You're not a matching vibration to love light, of infinite love light, if you didn't clear some of these densities within you. So it's important that's why you have to work on them now, so that you, when you reach that level, whether it's an individual ascension or a collective physical ascension, finally you'll be ready to go. Okay. So what vibration will you match? Will you match the one that's clear in service to others, a clear vessel and in service to other, no inversions inside of you, implants, hooks, entities, none of that? Or will you so you'll match that and you'll send out when that wave comes, or will you be some of these there's different types of legions that are here. Some of them are here just to support the earth and to bring like we said, coding into earth to help it shift. So some of those beings will it's like, for example, I once had an aura hypnosis session that was really sensitive, and I couldn't even record it, how sensitive it was. And in this perspective, in order for the ascension to come forth, what had happened is that there were angelic beings on earth. These angelic beings had incarnated, and I can't remember the exact number, but it was somewhere where 100 and something, maybe like 114. So these numbers of angelics were very important for Earth's ascension. So there's different councils like that spread throughout the earth of different alien races. Angels are not really looked as alien races. They're more like, the fractals of source, the ones that first, the elders of creation. But yes, so what they had to do to help ascension is that they had to incarnate. And they came into bodies, they walked into bodies, because all beings, starseeds, have to walk into bodies to come in, because you're coming from a higher dimension. You have to descend down and enter into a body that has had a benevolent agreement with you, to either merge with you or they leave. Maybe we can make a video on walk-ins, but yes. So they come in and then they fractalize, and then these angels also had to, just like you, remember, they had to lose some of their memory. They had to come into the matching density of their mother or the planet, well, more like the mother. And then what they were doing is that they were gritting the original blueprint of Earth. And they were the reason on why, one of the main reasons why the bifurcation, the 12-21-21, has finally crystallized. So these angels were. And then, so what would happen towards the end of, so fast forward to the event when it's happening, these angels are so beat up. It's really sad. They lived this world, they had to go through just like everyone else. Their loved ones, supposedly friends and family, influenced them to do negative things. They compromised them. They fed them with dark magic. They influenced them in many forms. But then there were some, of course, that were able to maintain in their sovereignty and realize, hey, you're trying to mess with me, so I won't ascend out. So what happened was that in this perspective, I've always been told that the soul is infinite and there's no way that a soul could ever be destroyed. But this specific legion, for some reason, the archons had been able to find out who they were, and they had been able to eat at them. They're like soul eaters, right? They eat at them and they eat at them, and they had completely taken them. So there was a few of them. So these angels, very brave angels, knew that some of them could never come back out from the inverted world of Earth. They still took on that challenge because they're that beautiful, selfless, and loving. Hurts to talk about this. So some of them were lost. So what they had to do was that they had to go to a parallel Earth that had these other fractal angels that were the same ones that were here. So right, we're infinity of fractals. These angels were brought on ship, and when this was basically after Ascension, after we removed all the people, which was explain about that, and they had to find their, so they were told, we don't know if you're going to be able to find the fractal that is a matching fractal to who you are, but when you find them, you merge with them and you're going to help them ascend, because this legion is very special. We need to save them, as we need to help them out. Okay, so after the event, after it happened, they came into what was left of the Earth, and at that point, these angels energetically, they look skeletal. They look like the world had really beaten them up. Some of them, of course, and some of them were hanging on strongly, but fiercely. And then they came in and they found their matching fractal of who the fractal of Earth was, and then they merged with them. And at that point, because they didn't go through all the control, the AI, all this falseness, and that really eats up at the light and diminishes the soul on Earth, the fractal that came from the other parallel Earth that wasn't inverted like ours, they merged with the one fractal. Then this fractal that agreed to come into Earth to assist it to grid the original blueprint of the two-third world bifurcation, they were able to finally leave and ascend out, and at that point they became one with their angelic form in the higher self or oversoul forms. So that's how precious the soul is. We forget how precious it is. All the effort that we would go through just to save one soul. So this is what we talk about. Let's take our time with the event, because every soul is precious. Okay, you need to really love, honor, and respect everyone to that point. Okay. Okay, so let's continue. All right, so you understand that. All right, so we are gonna have to go past the hour to understand the event. Honestly, guys, I could be talking about this all day, but I am condensing all this information somehow into 1 hour. Okay, so let's see. All right, so back to the event. When the solar wave comes through, there's going to be people who ride the wave and ride out with source that are going to be a matching vibration to enter into the 5th, 6th dimension. Then there's going to be people who will not make it. That it's either or, right? It's either or. Either you're organic or you're what are you? You're organic or original, divinity, or do you still hold inversions? So at that point, so what do we do with those people who did not heal themselves, and perhaps maybe they never healed the V, and they became parasitic in nature strongly? The only thing we can do is, okay, so there's people who will be able to reach enough love light to be able to repeat. What they're going to do is that they're going to place, there's going to be galactic motherships. They're not really ships like in a form like we would imagine them, like in a physical. They'd be their energy. So they're source ships that would come in through their plasmic fields as before the wave actually hits, because you can't, if the wave hits when these people who did not meet the high enough vibration and didn't clear their vessels, what will happen to them is they will be automatically transmuted straight back to source, and they will be reset, and that's not cool. No, we honor every soul to the most infinite ways, and we will not allow that And we will minimize that as much as possible as we can, of course, within always boundaries and sovereignty. So when that wave hits, these people need to be protected in force fields. Because when the wave hits and it comes in and it takes all the matching people's souls, all the souls that are matching vibration, then they ride that wave like surfboards, like they're on surfboards. They become merged with it, and they ride that wave out, and they go again to the fifth, sixth dimension, or they go wherever they're meant to go, right? Okay, so that wave comes. When that happens, again, all the sun portals, all the suns and source come together in a crystalline grid. They blast together. They merge, like how I explained the future vision that I said. They merge with the Divine Mother, who is going to birth out this plasmic flame, because only she can withhold that energy, because it is very, it is the most infinite energy you can hold. This source plasmic flame, it's creation itself, it's womb space. So when that happens and the solar wave comes, then at that point, again, the crust of Earth, the 3D, will break off. The splitting here, so this is why this splitting was really important, the world split. Because at this point, this was very important for us, because now, in case ever anything happens or the time comes, we can actually just split it. So we'll have whoever's a matching vibration on, say, on this circle here, the world of the fifth, sixth dimension, organic, they will rise up. And this is what the world splits actually represents. They split off. The organic splits off the inverted. The inverted, we have to go through transmutation, which we'll talk about that with that. But then it rises up and it goes back into the sixth dimension, and it crystallizes, it blueprints into its original blueprint. You understand? So it splits off one another. So at that point, it's a bit kind of like Osiris. They inverted a lot of that, like with Anubis and Thoth, but the internet inverted that, and a lot of light workers that are actually dark workers inverted that. They're actually benevolent in nature. So it's about that kind of like that judgment that Yeshua talked about, the revelation. And it's not judgment in a negative way. It's like it's a reading. What vibration do you match? Are you going to split off into this earth, which is organic, or are you going to split off into this one, which you're going to need assistance in the inverted, because you stayed with the inverted, right? Okay. So you understand that? So that's what will happen with that wave come. It will literally split it, and the inverted will fall off, which will be the crust, and then it will rise into that. Okay, we understand that. Okay, I'm going to take questions in a few. I just want to make sure you understand what is the event. What is Ascension? Okay, so all right. It's like a workshop. It's so beautiful today. Lots of teachings here. Okay. All right. So when that wave comes through and takes that wave, those people, one that they worked really hard, they tried really hard, but somehow they still weren't able to clear the inversions within them. Somehow they couldn't self-love themselves enough to enter into the fifth, sixth dimension, because they didn't love themselves. The inverted got to them and clouded them and tricked them. Those people, with their sovereign decision, because without a lot of this is in book 2, it's so beautiful, but without freedom, there is no sovereignty, and that's what is the soul. Sovereignty, the soul is freedom and sovereignty. So you have a choice. That's why you have that choice. What choice? And we have to respect the choices that you make. So then, so the people that will, so this is where some of those people are talking about that the UFOs come in and they take them. UFOs, motherships will have to come in, and they will have to. So this is going back to the Noah's Ark channeling that I had. You remember how we talked about how these people were encased in collective bubbles? Okay. And so that's what's going to happen. These people, these consciousnesses, the consciousness that left, they were matching. The consciousnesses that are not a matching will have to be encased in plasmic fields of shields, of force fields, of bubbles, Merkabah's force fields by the motherships, because they weren't a matching vibration. So they need to be protected, because if that flame comes through a source, they're going to be straight sent back to source. And that's, we don't want that. We want you to keep your experiences, what you gained, who you are, the essences. You know, we want you to merge back to your higher self or incarnate to a higher dimension. We don't want you to be recalibrated back to zero. That would be sad. That's sad to source. That's sad to us, to the benevolence of our universe. We don't want to see that. We want you to keep your experiences, because you went through so much as a starseed to be here. Why would you reset? No, that is horrible. Oh, that makes me emotional. So they will be encased in plasmic fields and they will be protected. What will happen with that is that after then the ascension comes forth and the wave comes forth, those beings that are held in a collective and individual, say, let's call it a bubble, a force field of shielding of source, they're protected there. And they're also their own issues, like if they didn't clear the entities in them and whatever they had, you know, experiments through military or my labs, whatever they had, they will be encased in their own bubbles in a big bubble of plasmic field, so that they're then they will go through a healing space where after ascension will happen and the event happens, they will go through a healing space where they will heal, and they will actually, all these things inside of them in a plane of existence, it will be a plane of existence where these beautiful healing, which Archangel Raphael comes into that, and the Christ consciousness, the Legion of Raphael and the Christ consciousness come into that, where they basically will be assisting these souls to help them see that they counseling them, working with them, that they held on to these things within them. But at that point, the AI will be transmuted, because when the wave comes through and it blasts the entire universe and the multiverse, what will happen, what will happen, again, I've had a future vision of this, is that the Archon universe is wiped. It is gone. Artificial intelligence, soulless entities. So these Archon things it's gone. It's no more. It can no longer be tolerated, and it is no longer tolerated now. But at that point, Source completely eradicates what's not a matching vibration to love light. That wave, that's what that wave is about. It's not just about Earth. This is our entire multiverse and our universe, and it eradicates, neutralizes that Archon universe, and it is gone. Gone from all time and space, deleted from all time and space, all inversions and inverted timelines and simulations and the clones that they made, the infringements that they caused on people, the children pedophilia, all of that garbage that they cause is gone and deleted from all time and space. Everything is wiped. Okay? And at that point, we merge back with our organic dark and light, and we become this beautiful type of purple is the way that I could explain purple. We're both the dark and the light, and we're just this beautiful balance of love. And from there, the possibilities are infinite on where we can go from there, right? Okay, so they will be healed. The souls that were in a matching vibration, they will be given the opportunity. Of course, do we want them to be stuck for a while in this plane of existence, healing and not being able to ascend just like everyone else? Of course, we don't want them to. So that's why we work so hard every day to be here for you, for the collective, in all the channels that we do. And thank you to everyone who is a matching vibration to understand this sacred knowledge. Thank you. I love you. Veluvia. I love you. Veluvia. I love you. I love you. Love you. Okay. So beautiful. Okay. But there are going to be souls as well, a third category, you can say, that are going to be so lost, that are going to be so distorted that they're beyond help. You've met some of those people. They're beyond help. They decided they definitely didn't want help. And we can't overstep their boundaries. So at that point, since they decided that, the universe, again, with the source flame, they will be taken. Those souls will be taken back to source and they'll be reset because we're done with this artificial. We are done. Event comes, the physical split happens, the physical removes, it's removed, it's no longer, there's no more physical, there's only energy to the quantum world. It is done. That is it. So make your choice. That's why our choices are so important. And make sure there's anything else that they want to talk about this split. So then, yeah, after those souls are healed in that realm of existence where they were trying their best, but they couldn't get out, they would have to have a form of service to self. They would have to have some kind of purity in them. But if they're completely negative polarized, they will be taken with that source wave and they will be transmuted and reset, just like those archons will be reset to 0. Same thing, 0 point, same thing. Okay, so what are you? So let's see. So then once they go through the healing process, they will be given an opportunity to incarnate in different planetary spheres. And we don't know exactly what that would look like because we're not in that time and space now. We're in the now, trying to get us through that to the time and space. But they would absolutely be given an opportunity to start from the lowest dimensions of our universe and then work their way up the ladder once more through the process of ascension. But it won't have archons anymore. It won't have negative polarized reptilians or negative entities. Oh my God, how beautiful is that, you all? It won't have that. It will be back to how it was. And there will be a complete seal within all the multiverse that this will never be allowed anymore. As sovereign free will beings, it will never be allowed for a being like this archon entity that decided to do this, and that will be in book 2, the whole backstory to that decided to do this, remove the love light from them, and then make soulless AI, artificial intelligence. And then they have no rules. So the last thing I want to explain is that as the earth is oscillating and is going through the process of ascension, when that wave comes through, all the keys and the portals on earth, the 13 keys, will light up. And they will connect to this gridding of all these planetary, all these suns, source suns, and the solar wave. And then at that point, it will then shift and open up the portals inside the inner earth where all the people will come in, go through, and ride that wave out. Okay, so that's why some of you guys have told me, I am a key. I'm this elder, Council of 12. I'm this elder of creation and I hold keys inside of me. Yeah, these keys are really important because they're part of the blueprint of bringing forth ascension, the literal ascension, and why we need to cleanse them and clear them and protect them with all that we are. Okay, whew, beautiful. Okay, so let me see what questions I could take. I hope you guys really enjoyed these 2 videos back to back. Okay, so I'm going to answer the questions. Okay. Good, we have a good amount of questions. Here we go. Question number 1. Okay, so the question that actually brought forth this video that they asked me to do from last Friday. So I want to ask, at the time of the event, what will happen to all the clones and organic souls trapped within them for those that are unaware and haven't healed? So which video did we do that we talked about this? Oh, yes. The one that we couldn't record here on this platform, we had to record through our own different avenues, and it's on Rumble, and it's also under Spotify. You can listen to that there or watch it there. So, what happened to the clones is that, so we talked about it a bit in that video, but so we talked about how, watch that video so you can understand it. So it's called Clones, Reptilians, Archons, Who Are They? And it has images of some of these people like Fauci, um, you know, Bill, and all these people. So watch that video so you can understand this more in depth. But clones are a stretched out soul, and that explains that there. So watch that. So what will happen to some of these, if they were able to repair the clones and merge them and heal them back to one, because they fracture the soul to make clones, then they could go through. So it depends on what level they at. We can remove, there's a lot of people on Earth that have already worked on that clones were made out of them, or that took the V and clones were made out of them too, and have started to heal their versions and fracture soul pieces and brought those fractured soul pieces back. And when you do that, then you start healing the clones. So, but if you don't, then they would be there. It depends on what level of vibration they would match to all that I explained, whether they will be able to ride that wave with no inversions because they healed all clone versions of themselves, hybrids that they made of them, all that stuff. And then, or they will be provided with healing if they are working and they're really trying and they can't, they haven't met that, just like we talked about in the healing rooms, in the healing realm, or they will be reset completely, brought back to zero because maybe they couldn't repair that soul that was made into clones. Okay, so it's the same thing there. Thank you for the question that brought this video on. So let's talk to the next question. What is the best way to ground, especially in eclipse season and retrogrades? Oh my god, yeah, yes. I remember, so I had posted this on my Facebook page or my profile, and someone had put on there during eclipse retrograde, and it was pretty funny. It was like a image, like an emoji, and they were like digging themselves into the soil. It was like we're digging ourselves in, like yes. Okay. What is the best way to ground? Nature. It's the best way. Plant. Lay in the grass. Give kisses to the land. Hug the trees. That's the best way. Just surround yourself with love light and those people who truly love you, and then hug a tree all day long if you have to, because tree is source of light, right? So yeah. Beautiful. So nature is the key. So watch the 7 goddesses channeling that I did, which are very important in book 2. You'll see why. Okay, so next one is, feels like there was a super activation of super soldiers in this past week or so. Can you share anything about this, please? Okay. I think we'll have to make a video on that. Yeah, so make a note, Minnie. We'll have to make a video on the super soldiers, but it basically is them trying to turn on with portions of the 5G that are working, trying to turn on the people with the V so that they can make them controllable, like that person that shot up that school. They're just controlled by they most likely had the V, and unfortunately we're going to see some of that more. So it's really important you guys clear this from within you, all the metals and all that is inside of you, and chips and whatever they put inside of you. The Sue Peter show is don't agree with everything that I might recommend for you all, but Sue Peter's show is pretty cool because they talk about some of these inversions that they're finding in the V. And yeah, okay. So I can confirm that for you. There's some kind of negativity, but it's only happening in the inverted world. So we might be able to see it and witness it in the physical, but know that you won't be part of it if you're walking your most organic, like the two worlds split. Okay, next question. Can you please explain what quantum means to the ascension process? What has it been inverted? Can it be? Quantum means just like the infinity of the universe. And now there's inversions in our part of the galaxy, right? So some parts, if you're looking at quantum as the infinity of all realms, all energy, everything, quantum means everything in our universe. So in that point of view, there are some parts, but you wouldn't say that quantum has been completely compromised. It's just a different AI inside the galaxy that there is, right? Okay. Some more water here. Whew. Okay. Next question. Okay. I think a lot of people have used quantum, like quantum healing, all these different quantum worlds, and have like inverted it. Yeah. But it doesn't mean that the infinity of the quantum realm is inverted. There's just some, yeah. Okay. Let's continue. Oh, one of the things that I don't think it's on here, but ascension, people talk about, oh, these are ascension symptoms. First of all, let me tell you that's false. There's no such thing as ascension symptoms. What is that? That's a made up false word in the lightworker community to trick you to, it's an Archon made up word, ascension symptoms. Those Archons are quite crafty. Okay. When you feel ascension coming forth, you're going to literally not even remember it. Ascension is going to come forth and you're going to vibrate out. What some people relate as ascension symptoms, like a headache, like tiredness, like like their pains in the body, maybe like vibrating. So okay, well, vibrating is good. It's actually trying to help you lift and vibrate out. So you're feeling the vibrations because your body's trying to elevate up your energy body. You're trying to level up, but you can't and then you get the different pains in you. So it's not ascension symptoms. The body's trying to say, hello, work with me, heal me. There's something here, stuck here. There's something here. Cleanse me, heal me, love me. And so you're feeling it like a headache because you have something inside of there, maybe an implant, something blocking you. So there's no such thing as ascension symptoms. No such thing. Listen to your body, honor it, love it, and heal it. Okay? When ascension comes forth, again, it's just going to be like, boom, you're like not even going to realize it's just going to, boom, consciousness is just going to lift up, whether it's an individual or more collective, you're going to lift up and you're going to ride out. So till then, all these things and body sensations that you're feeling, they're messages from your soul and trying to tell you, work with me. What do you need to work on? What can I do to help you? I am an extension of how your higher self communicates to you. This body is so beautiful. You need to love it, honor it, and you need to listen to it because it's trying to talk to you and tell you that it needs something. It needs some kind of cleansing, transmutation, balancing, or it just wants to level up in energy. What are you not listening to? No such thing as ascension symptoms. Those are lies. Because then when you believe, oh yeah, ascension symptom, yes, I have a headache, okay, this just ascension, gosh, then you're really just kind of like giving permission for that implant or whatever is giving you that headache to really integrate deeper into you. You don't want to allow that. Instead, you want to really address it, find a root to why you're feeling this. Okay, so Next one is there's been a lot of road rage going on and other violent behaviors. Feels much darker. You could feel that on the road. You really have to be sharp in your intuition. Keep sending love daily, but feels denser at certain times. What else can we do? So it's part of that. Okay, what happens when you go on the road? You're going to theta. So all these people who have the V in them, or people who have infringements inside of them, they're angered, they're like road rage because their entities are in charge, because they're in the theta of hypnosis. The brain neurologically comes in and out of these different brain waves. So that's what you're seeing. You're seeing their entities talk to them, being like, F you or whatever. You're seeing that. It's not the person you're talking to, it's more like their attachments that they're channeling through them. Yes, sending love is so important. So sending love at those different times that we talk about, sending love to the earth on the 111, the 444 would be a good time, because that's the time that you're sending love to earth. So at that point, you want to just be that hold that love light, like we talk about, like Yeshua taught us to hold that love light, so that love light is provided. So say someone is on the road and maybe they're not meant to be getting into an accident, that love light that you're sending will be that wave. And the more we send and channel that energy into it, the easier this field of plasmic waves of shielding will be there for those people who do not consent to this type of behavior, negative behavior, archonic behavior. Okay. Next one is apart from, so in a couple more minutes, you all. We've been at this for 2 hours at this point. So between the two videos, now apart from sending love, what else can we do to protect our children, our star seeds, from being attacked in all ways, especially also the physical violence we witness, school shootouts? So one of the things we talked about in the light language, the Lemurian language, is that if you want to become a practitioner of aura hypnosis, you can actually do a session on your children. It's so important. It is infinitely important, because you're giving an opportunity for them, because you know how we had to carry all our baggage and all our infringements all our lives and from past lives. So if you do a session on your child and you put them in, and again, they'll only show them what they're meant to show. Like I once did a session on an 11-year-old, and she was riding on a broom, and she had a cat and a dog, and she had a radio, and she was having fun in the skies. And then they went in the body scan and they healed what she had inside of her. So they only show them exactly what they're meant to. So as a parent, that is number one to me, because I'm a parent, to do a session on them and give them the opportunity that wasn't given to you. Because at that point, if they go into a session, whether it's a raw Reiki or a past life regression or a hypnosis, you're helping them remove some of the trauma that they're carrying from past lives. So that's number one to me. Absolutely. You're giving them that most beautiful opportunity that everyone should have. And at that point, because they're removing, the higher self is removing inversions within them, they're walking the organic blueprint completely. They're walking it. They're already so magical and beyond us. So imagine giving them that gift. Okay. So it's important that you just keep communicating to them. Communication is key with the children, helping them understand, hey, you're seeing that. This is what some of this control that I've been talking to you about, these negative entities that, they're trying to cause fear. I know that maybe you're hearing your peers, your classmates talk about it. Don't worry about it. You're shielded. You're loved. Don't worry about it. Just hold love for everyone. Teach them everything that you've learned through this YouTube channel. Teach it to them. Transform it into a level that they could understand. We've talked about this. Be the teacher that you're meant to be for them, so that they can find balance and know that they're safe and protected. Help them feel the protection within them. Teach them how to shield. Help them feel this so that they won't be submitted and, also fed into that fear and that control that they're just trying to do. It's sickening that they would do this to children's schools, and of course they're going to go after their makes us furious. Children, they're so pure. That's that's like beyond diabolical. That's like the worst of the worst that you can do, is to do this to children. We don't consent to that. Okay, let's keep moving. Okay. I'm gonna try to take more Ascension like event, because I don't really there's so many that are not completely related to Ascension and event, because that's what this video is about. Please can you share how we can handle our own feelings relations with some family members we love deeply that are not awakened and may not ascend? Well, remember how we talked about the opportunity that they're going to be given? No soul is left behind. No soul is left behind. Everyone is loved no matter which sovereign choice they choose, because whether it's a negative inverted choice or whether it's a positive choice, it is their sovereign choice. So just live in surrender and honor them. That's all you can do. Respect their boundaries as well, even if they're being influenced negatively. Just love, honor, and respect. It's the whole process. That's why we say I love you, honor you, and respect you, because that's how we treat each other in the universe, in this infinite love, honor, and respect. There's many ways that this could be answered. This would have to be your individual way on how you would handle a relationship with another. Okay. So what happens to the souls that are more than one key? Who would they join as their higher self oversoul? Will they split to be at both keys? Yeah, they could split energetically. But for the most, even if you're a multiple of different souls, you will typically will have one main oversoul, even though you're like this multiples of higher selves and oversouls. So typically you would go to the main oversoul. But yeah, there's no like, nothing's gonna happen to the soul, like it's not gonna split. It's just going to go wherever it chooses to go at, as it's sovereign. I mean, think about it. After the event, wow, how beautiful is that? You choose. Yeah. You've always been able to choose that, but at that level, you're so easily, fluidly choosing. With no more trickster energy there. So yeah, you could hold space in multiple keys on Earth in this time as you're incarnated and you're living on Earth. You're holding space. You're bridging the sovereignty for those sacred laws so that people can awaken to those sovereign laws, sacred laws of the universe, and they can start acting upon them and questioning if they're not being honored with a sacred law, say the law of throat chakra vibration. They start questioning that, and at that point they're connecting to the law, which would be located in Jerusalem, and they're connecting to that portal key that you're holding space for, and you're protecting, you're the guardian of those spaces, so that people can start clearing these throat chakras, removing what's in there, so that they could speak their truth. Okay. All right. Next one. I'm going to answer all questions that are related to Ascension, and then we will end it. Yes, as starseeds, are we strategically placed around Gaia? Yes, you are. So you would be closer perhaps to the key, or maybe born at the key that you're most connected to. But then every key though connects to every key. So you could be born in one key, but then connect to maybe the other key that you oversee as a guardian essence. And then through that key that you're most closest to, you connect to the other key. So yes, strategically, most importantly, every choice of where you're born is very important for Ascension and that blast of love light that comes in when you're born. So we are going to be talking about sacred birthing in the future and spirit baby. So number 11, many note that for that video to come about babies. So assuming our physical bodies will be left behind during display, yes, because the physical body is like a shell over you, so it's just going to be left behind. It's going to transmute with the physical inverted matrix. It's gone. Okay. So we'll be left behind during so assuming our physical bodies will be left behind during display, how will what many call death be handled, and how will it affect those left behind? So in order to send out, physically, like finally physically, we do have to die. We physically ascend out and we leave the body. And some of the people on Earth have done that. They've come and done what they needed to do, and they've died, and they're not stuck on Earth anymore. And now it's so important. So I have this beautiful, for example, oh, it's gonna make me want to cry, but okay. We had this beautiful AURA practitioner that joined us last year for an online workshop. This person had received sexual abuse. And when they were a child, this man had basically raped them and really had messed them up, right? So when they came into our sacred teachings, they were like, wow, this is the truth. This is home. This is what I've been waiting for all my life. So they joined our workshop and they learned how to self-heal themselves. They basically released and healed that infringement within their creational energy and their sacral chakra. And they were done. And they were an ascended master. This beautiful being was, he told me his oversoul was Lord Sanandam. Is that how you say it? Which I haven't channeled him yet, but it's an essence of Yeshua. And he told me, so that's who he was, right? So going back to this, is that's what he did. He ascended out. So what happened was that he did the workshop, and then sometime this year, after he had healed himself and he was needed more on the other side with all the sacred knowledge that he gained, at some point, we received notice from a friend of him that also is an AURA practitioner that his mother had found him and he had passed away silently in his sleep. He was healthy. There was nothing wrong with him. He had just passed away. He ascended out. So knowing that I had come into his beauty, had come into my world, I reached out to him as the channel that I am to make sure that he was okay. And he was like, I am wonderful. I am Lord Sanandam. I don't think I'm saying that right. Lord. I don't know. I don't think I'm saying that right. Anyways, so names don't really matter. But, and he was showing me how he was now on the other side and all this. As he healed, what he did was he ascended out, he didn't have any more inversions in him. He healed a collective of children and, pedophilic abuse, like what happened to him. And this wave of this beautiful Christ consciousness that he was from, healed the earth. And he showed me how beautiful he was and how he had healed. And he was just like in this infinite gratitude and thank you. And this wave that was so important in the time and space, we were working on the sacral chakra. I can't say details, but we were working on the sacral chakra of Earth. But we do it every day. But in this time and space, collectively, we were really working on it when he passed away. And with that, he took it with him and he healed and transmuted it and shifted it on Earth. That's how powerful we are. We forget how powerful we are. So our love to him and his beauty for sharing his story with us. Thank you. So beautiful. So yes, ascension will be like that. You would leave your physical body. You won't need it anymore. And instead of being trapped in the inverted matrix where they recycle your soul back in, you will be out. You will ascend out through the inside portal of collective heart of chakra of Earth, and you will go into the Emerald Gateway. And at that point, you'll decide where you go, right? Because you did it. You did it. But this was a natural death, right? This was this example was a natural death, an organic death that this person was ready for to heal the collective and done what they needed to do. So we always do not recommend, do not absolutely suicide, do not kill yourself. That is not okay, because at that point, you come right back into the inverted. You didn't ascend out. You back and recycle who's going to now be your parent. Yeah, okay. All right, beautiful. All right, let's see. So if the person's asking how we handle called death, but at that point you'll be out, so there's no way really to handle it, right? Because you're done, you're ascended out. At that point, I mean, the death doesn't really matter anymore. You're ascended out. So next one is, when ascension happens, what will we continue living on physical planet? Will we continue to living on a physical planet, Earth, just with a 5th dimension, 6th dimension level awareness, or we will leave our physical vessels? It's completely gone. Physical is gone. Physical is an illusion. So you will be in a planetary sphere that will be at energy, which is an instant manifestation creation with an embodiment of multitude of races, because that's what we're trying to do in this Earth. With magical creatures, you're going to be in that beautiful realm, and it's going to be glorious. Not a silly question, no. So, or we will leave our physical vessels and go back to planet realms where our higher selves reside. So you could do either or, but yeah, the physical is gone. No more illusion of the physical. It's a shell that is shedded off. It's like a skin, like a snake skin. It's shedded off. If someone who is still if someone who is still highly infringed dies before the big event, do they souls automatically get reset? They do, unfortunately. They do. They're given another opportunity to come back in a benevolent way, but in the matrix way, they're just recycled back into the inverted matrix, because they're not technically quantum realm. They're not a matching vibration to ascend out, so they have to keep repeating this. That's how the archons inverted our world. Our sacred ways of how we leveled up in grade levels and dimensions, they inverted it, and they just, a repeated false light back in. So it's really important that before you pass away that you clear everything, because you don't want to come back in. And who's going to be your parent now? No. Okay. So let's see. It's scary, y'all. Scary. Okay. I need to make some kind of fun and joke out of this, because this is strong stuff, you all. Okay, next one is, we're about to finish up. While we are still here before the big event, how do you recommend navigating our family relationships with members who are highly infringed and not choosing to self-heal? I can only tell you what we've been sharing to the world split. If you keep people who are infringed upon and don't want to evolve like you are, have not reached a level of awareness, they will keep infringing upon you. So choose. Do you want to battle with them all day long, or do you want to cut them off? At that point, you let them go, you release them. It is the most selfless act you could do, because they no longer have to infringe upon you, because you're not allowing for them to infringe upon you. It's about that, Buddha, what he taught us, and all that we teach, attached to none. Love all, attached to none. You release them from having to invert. And we talk about this all the time. So choose. You want to continue energetically battle them, and they might attach a cord, they might infringe upon you, your fridge might break down, your car might break down, because they're sending you so much negativity through that cord that you are still connected to them, and stuff keeps happening to you. My apologies. Stuff keeps happening to you because that cord is feeding it into you. So decide, what do you want to do? You want to be completely sovereign and free and not allow this? Because sovereignty is true letting go of people who are not a matching vibration to you. That's true sovereignty. Learning to create and manifest all within matching vibrations of who you truly are. Okay. What about our pets? Last one. Will they vibrate up with us? Of course they will. They're already there. They're like, come on, what's taking you so long? Oh, I'm waiting for you over here, and I have to be in this physical body, and I have to give you kisses all day long, and pets, and lay with you at night, because I'm trying to help you to come meet me up here, because I'm a magical being. I'm a magical creature. That's what they're saying. All right, thank you all. Wow. Beautiful, profound video. Most important. Thank you. I love you all. I honor you and I respect you. Veluvia. I will see you next time. I love you, love you, love you. Share this video, subscribe, hit the bell button so you know when we're, go to our risingphoenixaurora.com, type in your email, it pops up so that you can receive our emails, so that when we do private videos that are more sensitive that cannot be on these platforms. Thank you. Vimeo, I'm on, Vimeo, but I more or less go to Rumble, and Spotify. I love you guys. Thank you for being you. Thank you for understanding this sacred knowledge. Thank you. I love you, love you, love you, love you. Have a most glorious weekend. Go bask in natures and keep growing. I'll see you next time. Bye, my loves.